Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first video of the channel. Just sit back, grab some popcorn and enjoy the stories. The Mysterious Call. One ordinary evening, I received a call on my old landline phone. The voice on the other end was unfamiliar, and it sent a chill down my spine. The caller spoke in a hushed tone, urgently warning me of an imminent danger that would befall me unless I followed their instructions. At first, I dismissed it as a prank call, but the caller seemed to know details about my life that only a select few were aware of. They mentioned specific events and places that left me unnerved. As the conversation continued, the caller's voice grew more urgent, insisting that I follow their instructions to the letter. Feeling a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, I decided to play along. The caller instructed me to go to a remote location in the woods in the dead of night without informing anyone. I was to bring nothing but a flashlight and my cell phone. Despite my better judgment, I found myself drawn to the mystery of the situation that night. I made my way to the designated location, my heart pounding with anticipation and fear. The woods were enveloped in darkness, and the only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath my feet. As I reached the clearing, I saw a figure standing there, obscured by shadows. It was the caller. They wore a hooded cloak and beckoned me closer. Their voice barely above a whisper. They revealed cryptic details about my past and claimed to hold the key to my future. With a mix of trepidation and curiosity, I followed their instructions, navigating through the woods in the dead of night. We arrived at a long-forgotten cabin, abandoned and dilapidated. The caller revealed that this was the very place where a dark secret had been buried, a secret that had haunted me for years. As the night wore on, the truth unraveled in a chilling revelation. The caller revealed themselves to be a long-lost relative, seeking redemption for past sins. They had orchestrated the events to lead me to confront my own fears and confront the truth about my family's dark history. In that abandoned cabin, I came face to face with the ghost of the past, and the truth left me shaken to the core. It was a night of reckoning, a surreal and haunting experience that changed my life forever. To this day, I can't forget that mysterious call and the events that followed. It was a reminder that sometimes the truth can be stranger than fiction, and that the past has a way of catching up with us in unexpected and chilling ways. The Abandoned Mansion. It was a dark and stormy night when me and my two friends, Jack and Eric, decided to explore an abandoned mansion that had been the talk of the town for years. We were always up for a thrill, and the stories of the mansion being haunted only fueled our curiosity. We entered the decaying mansion, our flashlights piercing through the darkness as we ventured deeper into the unknown. After a while, Jack said he needed to use the restroom, and Eric and I decided to continue exploring while he took a quick break. We moved cautiously through the dark and eerie halls, our footsteps echoing eerily as we navigated through the labyrinth of rooms. As we made our way through a particularly dimly lit corridor, I turned to share a joke with Eric, but he was nowhere to be found. My heart skipped a beat as I called out his name, but there was no response. I was suddenly alone in the abandoned mansion, and a sense of unease washed over me. I searched frantically, my flashlight flickering, casting shadows that seemed to dance in the darkness. The atmosphere grew colder, and the air felt thick with an unexplained presence. My mind raced with fear as I stumbled upon a horrifying sight. In one of the rooms, I found Eric lying lifeless on the floor, a pool of blood surrounding him. Shocked and horrified, I turned around to see Jack standing there, holding a bloody knife, his eyes devoid of emotion. The sight sent chills down my spine, and I couldn't comprehend what had just happened. Before I could react, Jack turned his gaze on me, and I could feel his eerie stare piercing through my soul. I was frozen with fear as he took a step towards me, the knife gleaming in the faint light. My mind raced with questions, but I knew I had to escape. I turned and ran, my heart pounding in my chest, tears streaming down my face. I could hear Jack's footsteps following closely behind me, his laughter echoing through the halls. I raced through the dark and crumbling corridors, stumbling and tripping, fueled by sheer adrenaline and the desperate need to survive. Finally, I burst out of the mansion, my lungs burning, and I called for help. The authorities arrived, but there was no sign of Jack or Eric. It was as if they had vanished without a trace. To this day, I can't forget that horrifying night at the abandoned mansion, a chilling experience that left me with unanswered questions and a sense of lingering dread. I often wonder what drove Jack to commit such a gruesome act, and if I'll ever truly know the truth. But one thing is for certain, I didn't even want to find out if that was Jack or not. The fog. It was a quiet and peaceful evening. As I decided to take a stroll in the nearby woods, the autumn leaves rustled beneath my feet, and the cool breeze carried a hint of mist in the air. As I walked deeper into the woods, the fog started to roll in, slowly enveloping the surroundings in a thick white blanket. As the fog thickened, my sense of direction became disoriented, and I soon realized that I had lost my way. Panic started to set in as I tried to retrace my steps, but the fog seemed to swallow everything in its embrace. I could barely see a few feet ahead, and the woods that were once familiar now felt eerie and foreboding. As I stumbled through the fog, I heard faint whispers that seemed to echo from all around me. I tried to call out for help, but my voice seemed to get lost in the mist. The air felt colder, and a sense of unease crept over me. Desperate to find my way out, I stumbled upon an old cabin, barely visible through the thick fog. With no other option, I cautiously approached the cabin, the door creaking ominously as I pushed it open. Inside, I found a dimly lit room with an old gas lamp flickering in the corner. The cabin was cluttered with dusty furniture, cobwebs, and a lingering musty smell. As I explored further, I discovered old photographs on the walls, depicting a family that seemed to have lived there ages ago. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me, and I turned around to find a figure in a tattered cloak standing in the doorway. My heart skipped a beat as I tried to make out their features, but the fog obscured their face. The figure spoke in a whispery voice, warning me to leave the cabin and the woods immediately. They spoke of a curse that had befallen the woods and the cabin, and how anyone who lingered too long would meet a sinister fate. Before I could respond, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving me bewildered and terrified. I knew I had to leave, but the fog had grown thicker, and I couldn't see beyond the cabin's walls. As I made my way back to the door, I heard a blood-curdling scream coming from outside. I rushed to the window and saw a shadowy figure disappearing into the mist, leaving me with a sickening feeling in my stomach. With no other choice, I braved the fog and ran blindly, stumbling and falling multiple times. The whispers grew louder, and the fog seemed to taunt me, leading me in circles. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, the fog suddenly lifted, and I found myself standing at the edge of a cliff. I looked around, and to my horror, I saw the old cabin standing on the cliff's edge, overlooking the vast expanse of the woods below. Shaken to the core, I realized that the cabin and the figure were no ordinary entities. They were part of the curse, and I had fallen victim to their malevolent trap. The fog had led me in circles, trapping me in a loop, and the cabin was a manifestation of the curse itself. I turned to leave, but the figure appeared once again, now with a sinister grin on their face. The plot twist hit me like a thunderbolt. I was never meant to escape. The curse had claimed me, and the figure was the embodiment of its dark power. In a desperate attempt to break free, I ran towards the cliff's edge, but as I looked down, I saw my own lifeless body lying on the forest floor below. The realization dawned on me that I was now a part of the curse, doomed to wander the woods and encounter unsuspecting victims just like me. The figure laughed maniacally as I tried to grasp the gravity of my fate. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also comment down what type of stories you want to hear next.